Do you know the difference between an immigrant and a refugee? Have you perhaps ever been one?
So, the definition is simple. A refugee is a person who is outside their home country because they have suffered or feared persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, or political opinion.
On the other hand, an immigrant is a person who migrates to another country, usually for permanent residence.
For example, if you want to leave your country in order to find a better job, you are an immigrant. But if you are forced to leave your country because of your beliefs, then you are a refugee.
Immigration to Europe increased in the later 20th century. Especially Western European countries saw dramatic growth in immigration after World War II, and many European nations today have sizable immigrant populations, both of European and non-European origin.
A big step for the EU was the signing of the Schengen Agreement in 1985, which initiated the abolition of border controls between participating countries. Schengen cooperation has gradually been extended to include most EU member states, as well as some non-EU countries.
But what's happening in today's Europe? Some 435,000 people applied for asylum in the EU last year, a 36% jump on 2012. Syrians topped the list, and almost 3 times as many Eritreans tried to escape their country as the year before. 1 out of 10 refugees applied for asylum in Germany, the most populous EU country.
The International Organization for Migration says there have been 30 times as many deaths so far in 2015 as in the same period last year, and the figure could rise to 30,000. But why are those people trying so hard to run away from their countries? Why do they prefer risking their own lives while trying to get away than staying in their homelands?
Let's have a look at the situation in Syria, for instance. More than 200,000 Syrians have lost their lives in 4 years of armed conflict, which began with anti-government protests before escalating into a full-scale civil war. More than 11 million others have been forced from their homes as forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad and those opposed to his rule battle each other, as well as jihadist militants from Islamic State. This is the story of the civil war so far.
As for immigrants that come from Central Africa, the main reason why they leave their countries is because they are living under dictatorship and are going to Europe hoping to find a better life.
Immigration inside Europe comes from the fact that people from the eastern part of the continent with higher unemployment are looking for well-paid jobs in wealthy countries in the West.
How does immigration influence our society?
Imagine a young Greek graduate who is looking for a job, and everywhere he goes he sees immigrants working while he can't find a job. He feels hate for those people and feels like they are taking his job. What he forgets, maybe his grandparents also were immigrants, and one day he might also be one.
But on the other hand, immigration can also have a positive influence on our society. People can become more tolerant towards different cultures by living next to foreigners.
The problem of immigration is way deeper than we think. Nevertheless, those are some actions that can be taken in order to improve the current situation.
The solution is not closing the borders or being violent.
What should be done is helping the countries who suffer from unemployment, wars, dictatorships. Equality should be provided to everyone living in the EU, whether he is a native or an immigrant.
Some actions are already planned for the future. The UN Special Rapporteur on the Human Rights of Migrants has said wealthy countries should agree to accept 1 million Syrian refugees over the next 5 years to help end the series of boat disasters.
What people must understand is that the immigrants bring wealth to the country if they are well educated and given health care.
So, how do you think this situation should be dealt with? What do you think about immigration now?